Okay, India. So this is a psychic reading and psychic prediction for India. This is by request by a client and YouTube subscriber. So, India. What I see for India is I see them proclaiming success, and this is more about the leaders of India and kind of where India is headed. That's basically what I was focusing on. So the leaders are there's a lot of proclaiming success prematurely and celebrating in a way that is kind of self-indulgent. Um, it's not so much that they're celebrating too early as much as they're kind of celebrating things that aren't really, a big deal, but they're kind of making it seem like it's a big deal. Like it's just like a fake kind of celebration just to build morale, kind of like putting on a show and kind of like stroking their egos. So when I tune into India, just the general energy of India, what I got was this brown kind of energy that was very earthy and very much so in the moment. But the thing about it was that it was kind of boxed in, and this has to do with perception, kind of being boxed into a certain perception and being kind of stuck seeing the world through that lens. And so there's a little bit of energy about that with India going on. I'm seeing the leaders shouting, and it's kind of like there's this shouting contest going on, as if there's kind of like tribes or like groups of people, kind of like a tribal competition, and they're all like trying to figure out what to do, and everybody's just kind of yelling and trying to yell over each other, and whoever is the loudest kind of wins this competition. It seems to be the way that it's working here. Um, but the problem is that they're kind of missing the bigger picture because there's so much of this like stubborn kind of internal struggle within the country of like these different narratives and different viewpoints kind of battling each other. And so because of that, it's like the bigger picture is missed. And so there's this inability to kind of compromise or evolve their perspectives in a way that furthers along the progress of their connection with the rest of the world as like a global unit. And that seems to be a big problem here is just being kind of out of sync and kind of stuck in their head about certain things. And for some reason, Saudi Arabia was coming up. I don't think that India is going to be like Saudi Arabia, but there's some sort of similarity that's showing up as the direction things are headed, which is kind of resembles Saudi Arabia, and I'm not even really sure exactly what that means. That's just what's coming up for me, so you can kind of draw your own conclusion about what that may mean to you. So, other countries, what I'm seeing for India is other countries kind of ignoring them because they're so kind of stuck in this battle, this internal battle, and this like kind of stubborn, being stuck kind of within their own head in some sense. And so other countries are just progressing without them. They're like, we're doing this and you can join us or not. But India's just kind of held back a little bit and not really connecting with the the progress going on around the world. So I do get a timeline of like 3 to 8 years before India will start to integrate with the rest of the planet within this. And regardless of that, I mean, even with that, with them integrating into it, I still get there's going to be probably like 20 years or so before India really kind of catches up to the rest of the world or catches up to the rest of the governments that are progressing at a faster rate than they are with this kind of global integration, which involves global economies and technologies that we have yet to see as of today, December 2021. So there's this collective unity that's kind of growing in the world, and it's also growing within India, but it's very slow, but it is consistent. So slow but consistent. And so the leaders are kind of not really serving the masses as much as themselves, like a little self indulgent, I would say. But within 5 years or so, I see this kind of like awakening of like the general public and the masses kind of spreading and taking so much, just becoming so powerful that they kind of have to go along with it, the leaders, that is. And so within like 5 years or so, I see the leaders kind of starting to serve the masses more and listen. And it's like less of like this hierarchical system. And I get that when this happens, these leaders are rewarded very well, and this works out very well for them. I see the public being much happier, as well as these elites becoming less so elite, but there's this newfound joy in what they're doing because sure they don't have like this hierarchy to kind of be above everybody else, but they're kind of, it's almost easier in some sense because they just kind of go with the flow and there's less resistance, I guess. It's just more simple. So India, what I see coming up potentially, I see them considering some battles like wars with other countries. It's like they kind of want to fight a little bit, the leaders, that is. But I don't see that this is very likely to actually happen, which is a good thing because if this did happen, I see the leaders actually becoming much more tyrannical, and the kind of going with the flow, kind of working with the masses type of scenario I just described wouldn't happen if they choose that route. However, I don't think that that's the route they're going to go. I do get that they're considering battles and there may be some preparations and some strategies that they're coming up with right now and focusing a lot of their energy on that. But I don't think that they're going to follow through with any of those ideas. So, because the leaders of India are just kind of so stuck in their own world and their own narrative and their own ideas, philosophy, I guess, I don't know. They're stuck in their own box. They're kind of ignorant of the outside world, and they're, like I said, celebration, they're kind of blinded by their own celebration in some sense, that they celebrate things because in their mind they've won or something like that. But like to the outside world, they didn't really accomplish anything. They're like, what are they celebrating? So regarding other countries, the United States, I do see having this rapid advancement. Next 3 to 5 years being, really ramping things up. Things change drastically in the next 3 to 5 years with the economy and technology, things of that nature, and just the general mindset of the average person and our ideas about even perceptions of reality, I think are going to change as well. So I'm seeing the US with this rapid advancement, um, and other countries working along with this kind of like world network of that. And it's different than like a centralized world network. This is like a network where there's everybody's kind of coming together. It's not like there's centralized power dictating all of it. It's more like a co-op kind of mode. Everybody's kind of working together more. So, anyways, I see this working with different countries, and some of the countries that just popped up in my mind when I was reading this that will be going along with this plan, which is a positive plan, by the way, is Iceland, um, Russia, some Middle Eastern countries, and I don't have specifics on what those are. I got Turkey with a question mark, like maybe Turkey, maybe not. I'm not 100% sure on Turkey, but that one popped up as a maybe. And of course, there's other countries involved as well. Those are just the ones that popped out in my mind when I was reading it. So China also will be advancing, but in a different sort of way, and their way of doing it won't be like as a community kind of unity sort of thing. It's going to be kind of like they're doing it their own separate way, cut off from everyone else, and it's kind of like more like a copycat type of strategy where they kind of just see what everybody else is doing and they kind of copy them and kind of do their own version of that and try and kind of make it theirs, even though it's not really something they created. Um, so India will be benefiting from the changes that I was talking about, the global economy. So even though India won't be like at first kind of within that whole network of this, I guess, awakening, I guess if you want to call it that on some level, um, this progress, and I don't mean progressive politics, I mean like real progress in the world. Um, India will be not doing that, not participating in that on its own accord at first, but regardless, it will be benefiting from the global economy with technology. The global economy being better will obviously be better for India, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So eventually, India will notice that the rest of the planet is really ramping things up and kind of advancing technologically and kind of, the whole system is like an upgrade. So within 7 years or so, I think that's about the time, 7 years approximately, is when India will kind of take note of this and be like, okay, we need to stop being so stubborn and we're going to actually do something about this and just be like, hey, we want to be in on this as well. And so India will kind of integrate into this system and stop and kind of get out of their heads a little bit and be open to more possibilities than they seem to be right now. Um, so within 7 years, I do see this being a very fun time to be in India and very exciting to be in India. And it's partly because of there's going to be all this new technology, this economic prosperity, etc., or changes and upgrades. Not necessarily prosperity, but upgrades and improvements. Um, and so all these updates will be happening, but at the same time, they'll still have their old culture. And so that's the difference because the United States and other countries I see not necessarily having their culture, not necessarily keeping their culture, kind of losing bits of their traditions. But I see India keeping their culture and being able to have this upgrade at the same time, which is pretty awesome actually. So eventually the celebrating that I'm seeing that the Indian leaders like to do will become not so indulgent, but it will become more in alignment with reality and in alignment with the rest of the world and what's really going on, and be more appropriate as a celebration. So thanks for watching and have a great day.